I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. No objection from the government for EPF's monthly withdrawal scheme. And Bank Negara maintains OPR rate at 3%. Good morning. Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim said there is no objection from the government on the proposal by the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, to impose periodic or monthly withdrawals upon reaching the voluntary retirement age of 55. According to the Prime Minister, the government is in the final stages of fine-tuning the policies.
Masih di peringkat akhir, saya tidak ada keberatan. Dia ikut upayaan KWSP seperti mereka tersebut. Tadi ucapan Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah sebentar tadi ada beberapa kekangan, terutama di kalangan yang simpanan yang terlalu kecil.
Dato' Sri Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, spoke to the media after attending the International Social Wellbeing Conference 2023 on Thursday. He was commenting on the suggestion by Dato' Sri Amir Hamzah to encourage its members who are 55 years old to withdraw their savings periodically instead of a lump sum withdrawal to help the people continue saving and have enough savings when they retire. Currently, monthly withdrawals are voluntary, but in the future they may be made mandatory for new members. In the meantime, the Prime Minister said measures to protect pensioners are in the works following the Federal Court's decision which invalidated amendments to the pension law. Dato' Sri Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, said the government was working on the details of the mechanism and would make an announcement soon.
We will deal with it. I mean, we will certainly protect we have to respect the decision of the Federal Court, but we are having mechanism to protect the pensioners.
Will there be any government?
We will announce soon. We are working on the details.
On June 27th, the Federal Court ruled that legal amendments made in 2013, which introduced a new pension scheme that adjusts pension payments every year by a 2% increment, were less favourable to pensioners and unconstitutional. The decision meant that the older version of the law containing the old pension adjustment scheme would be restored. The EPF said it has been working towards establishing a more pension-like approach towards providing members with a more stable income in their post-retirement years. Clarifying news reports on the consideration to introduce a monthly drawdown option for its members, the EPF said the proposed changes will most likely require a generational change and that the conversion will take time. In a statement, the EPF said the process of formalising the proposed monthly withdrawal mechanism is still being studied and will take into account the ability and readiness of its members to make such a transition. It also said the EPF nevertheless believes that such a transition is necessary, given that Malaysia's average life expectancy has increased from 54 years in 1957 to 75 years in the present day, and is projected to further increase in the future, translating into longer years spent in retirement. The statement added that the EPF will continue to encourage its members to voluntarily convert to the monthly drawdown option. In 2022, more than 7,000 members have already voluntarily adopted the monthly payout option. For Bank Muamalat's chief economist, Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, the EPF's proposal on a mandatory monthly withdrawal scheme could promote better financial planning and alleviate the challenges posed by the rising cost of living. He stressed that the proposal could also provide retirees with a consistent stream of income while allowing them to benefit from dividends rates from the EPF that consistently surpasses inflation rates.
So, in a nutshell, I think this is to encourage better financial planning and especially in dealing with high cost of living. So, by ensuring a monthly withdrawal, for instance, the retirees will be able to plan their money well and try to avoid risk of their funds to be depleted in shorter amount of time when there are also risks of falling prey to the financial scams, which I think is quite prevalent at the moment.
Following the EPF's proposal, Nightline's Hakim Osman spoke to members of the public, with many of them suggesting that instead of being made mandatory, the move should remain optional.
And I think they should have flexibility right now when they can withdraw all. But if they want to withdraw, they have the option to withdraw partial or monthly. Lump sum. Yeah, there is a better choice for the people.
Some of them also expressed that the move could violate upon their fundamental rights to access their hard-earned savings.
I'm not agree with it.
Why?
Because that is our money, so we can decide whatever we want. Because after retirement, after 55, so we need our money after so long that we keep it in the EPF. So because we want to use it as our, anak nak kahwin, we want to pay our debts, everything.
So, because he is already 60 years old, he can use that money to do something else to achieve what he wants, to take care of his children who are grown up already. A man of 60, I don't think he really need any monthly income because the EPF itself is enough to look after him.
However, for some, the proposal can encourage individuals to adopt better financial management practices.
I mean, once you withdraw, the tendency is to spend it as quickly as possible for some other reason, which may not help you as you grow older and older, So as you get older and older, it's better to have this policy of, staggered withdrawals.
Bank Negara's Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, has decided to maintain the overnight policy rate, OPR, at 3%. In a statement, the central bank said at the current OPR level, the monetary policy stance is slightly accommodative and remains supportive of the economy. The MPC also continues to see limited risks of future financial imbalances. It also remained vigilant to ongoing developments and will continue to monitor incoming data to inform the assessment on the outlook of domestic inflation and growth. Bank Negara added that the global economy continues to expand, driven by resilient domestic demand, supported by strong labour market conditions. Global growth, however, remains weighed down by persistent core inflation and higher interest rates. The decision to hold rates is the right decision for the right reasons, according to economist Professor Jeffrey Williams, adding this will be positive for the economy since there are some headwinds from the global growth.
The interest rate decision by Bank Negara was very much in line with what markets were expecting, and also very much in line with all of the economic data that is available. So what we're seeing is that inflation is falling and is likely to continue to fall for the rest of the year, both headline inflation and also core inflation. We know that the financial sector is really very stable, and we know that the economy is going to grow, albeit at a lower rate perhaps than in the past, but at a much more stable rate. We also know that during the last week or so, the depreciation of the ringgit appears to have been stemmed, and that the ringgit is now much more stable than it was before.
He noted that the financial sector is sound and economic growth is steady. According to him, the decision to hold the rates will help businesses and consumers to be more confident and stable, and will allow policy attention to switch to long-term structural issues.
What this means is that we should see a much more stable economic environment now. People can be more confident about their borrowing, more confident about their set loan payments in particular, and then the focus of economic policy will be on long-term reform. And we're going to see next month in August, and after that, a number of important structural reform announcements. One will be the Economy Madani framework. The other will be the review, or the midterm review, of the Malaysia Plan, and we will also be seeing a new industrial strategy. And these will be focused very much more on structural issues from now on and not short-term issues. So that's going to be the change in the economic discussion between now and the end of the year.
He concluded that the decision to hold the rates will support the increasingly stable environment. The Malaysia My Second Home or MM2H program's policy, incentives and benefits have to be improved to ensure they do not burden applicants. In a statement on his official Facebook page, Johor ruler Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar stressed that such improvements would be crucial in positioning Malaysia to be among the top choices for potential long-term foreign residents. Earlier on Thursday, Sultan Ibrahim granted a 2-hour audience to Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing at the official State Palace in Istana Bukit Serene. After the audience, Datuk Sri Tiong told the Johor Royal Press Office that the Johor ruler shared various perspectives and ideas on improving the MM2H program. He lauded Sultan Ibrahim's views and ideas on the matter, pointing out how they could boost Malaysia's tourism sector. He said His Majesty's insights and advice to improve the program will be discussed with the Home Ministry as well as industry players. He added that the outcome of these discussions would be presented to the Cabinet next month. In August 2021, Sultan Ibrahim decreed that the federal government review the implementation of the MM2H program to achieve a positive balance towards investors as well as the country's economic growth. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is confident that the Pakatan Harapan and Barisan Nasional Alliance and operations in facing the elections in 6 states next month will not be affected by the so-called cooperation forged between 2 former Prime Ministers. In fact, the Prime Minister said the meeting between Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin on Wednesday was nothing new.
Bukan perkara baru, kita tahu bahawa kelompok itu akan tetap bersekongkol untuk pertahankan cara mereka dan harta mereka. Kita bertanggungjawab untuk menyelamatkan negara dan rakyat.
It was earlier reported that the meeting between Tun Dr. Mahathir and Tan Sri Muhyiddin was allegedly held to discuss the agenda to resolve Malay issues and promote the Malay Proclamation movement. The meeting, which lasted almost 2 hours, was also attended by the Malay Proclamation Secretariat Chairman, Datuk Sri Khairuddin Abu Hassan. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has denied allegations of a rift between MCA, MIC and Barisan Nasional following the decision made by the 2 parties not to contest in the upcoming state elections. The BN chairman said he respected the decision taken by the top leadership of the 2 component parties and that the matter will be discussed further at the Coalition Supreme Council meeting on Monday.
Tak akan kempen? Tak ada. Mereka akan kempen lah. Mereka akan kempen. Oh, mereka akan kempen. Akan turun kempen.
Cuma diorang tak bertanding je lah?
Tak bertanding saja.
Do you look at this as a boycott from MIC and MCA?
Saya ingat mereka mempunyai alasan sendiri dan saya lebih menghormati keputusan itu daripada melakukan pelbagai spekulasi yang kita tidak tahu tapi elok kita perbincangkan pada 10 Julai nanti.
He also dismissed allegations that the decision made by the 2 parties was an act of boycott, adding that they have expressed commitment to continue to give their cooperation and will also campaign during the polls. He said that MCA and MIC have ceased to contest in the state polls, and in the event they stick to their decision to sit out the polls, the seats would remain for BN. According to Datuk Sri Zahid, the most important thing is that BN, as an important and strategic component in the unity government, will continue to be together to face the 6 state elections that will take place this August. After this breather, UK's Foreign Minister warns against attacks on Indian embassy. Details when we return. Nightline continues. Hong Kong's legislature unanimously voted on Thursday to overhaul district-level elections by drastically reducing the number of directly elected seats, which critics said would further shrink democratic freedom in the Chinese-ruled city. Under the amendment, only 88 seats would be directly elected by the public, down from 452 in an election that saw a landslide victory for the democracy camp in 2019. The overall number of seats would also be reduced from 479 to 470. However, no date has been set for the next election. The amendment will further stifle the remnants of democratic opposition in the former British colony, where a national security law that China imposed in 2020 has already led to the arrest of former lawmakers and district councillors, as well as the breakup of several political parties. Thailand's new Prime Minister is likely to be installed within the first 3 joint sessions of the House of Representatives and the Senate, scheduled for the next 2 weeks. Deputy House Speaker Pichet Chuamongpan on Thursday said the vote was initially set for July 13th, but if it fails, there will be a second voting session on July 19th and a third round on July 20th. According to Pichet, the 3 sessions were planned due to the difficulty of scheduling a meeting with all 750 members of both the lower and upper chambers of the House. The coalition allies, consisting of 8 political parties that favour Move Forward Party leader Pita Limjaroenrat as the next Prime Minister, currently hold 312 votes in the House. The alliance will still need the support of 64 legislators to secure the 376 votes necessary to endorse Pita, whose party won the May 14th general election with 151 House seats. Pichet said he has no clue how many senators will vote for Pita, adding that after having spoken with some senators, it is clear that they would like a new government in place as quickly as possible so that the country can move forward. The United Kingdom on Thursday warned against any attacks on the Indian High Commission in London following media reports about a poster promoting a rally for supporters of a separate state for the Sikh community. Foreign Minister James Cleverly said any direct attacks on the Indian High Commission in London are completely unacceptable. He also said his ministry has made clear to the High Commissioner of India to Britain, Vikram Doraiswamy, and the Government of India that the safety of staff at the High Commission is paramount. Earlier, Indian media reported that the poster had been circulating on Twitter to promote a rally on July 8th for Khalistan, a name created by supporters of an independent Sikh state which does not exist. In March, a violent protest at the Indian High Commission in London erupted when pro-Khalistan activists had clambered onto the mission's balcony and pulled down the national flag from a pole in front of the building. India then lodged a strong protest with the UK about the violence and even reduced security around the British High Commission in Delhi. Over in Mexico, a devastating bus crash in the indigenous Mixteca region of Oaxaca state left at least 29 people dead on Wednesday. 14 others were hospitalized in the town of Tlaxico, while 5 victims were airlifted to the state capital of Oaxaca City. The incident occurred when the bus, traveling from Mexico City through the southern Oaxaca state, crashed at around 6:30 a.m. local time. It was believed that the driver lost control of the vehicle, causing the bus to roll over and fall roughly 18 meters into a ravine. The cause of the incident was believed to be due to lack of skills and tiredness. Djokovic notches the 350th Grand Slam win. Sports when Nightline returns. Back on Nightline. On to sports now. Tennis and the 2023 Wimbledon. Seven-time champion Novak Djokovic was severely tested by Australia's Jordan Thompson in their second-round match before securing a straight-set win and a passage into the next round. Djokovic was down 3-6 in the opening set before he clawed his way into the game to take the next two sets, 7-6, 7-5 over Thompson for his 350th Grand Slam match victory. Next up for Djokovic is a third-round match against Stanislas Wawrinka. The Swedish was dragged to a four-set battle before claiming a 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-2 win over Thomas Echeverry. Meanwhile, Greek fifth seed Stefanos Tsitsipas survived a thrilling five-set Wimbledon battle against Dominic Thiem. Tsitsipas was pushed to the brink in a grueling first-round tie lasting almost 4 hours. But the fifth seed held his nerve in a final set tiebreak to secure a 3-6, 7-6, 6-2, 6-7, 7-6 victory. The Greek will next play two-time champion Andy Murray. In another match, Danish sixth seed Holger Rune reached the second round for the first time with a 7-6, 6-3, 6-2 win against British wildcard George Lofhagen. The 20-year-old will play Spaniard Roberto Caballes Baena in the second round. Also through to the next round was Yannick Sinner. The returning Wimbledon quarterfinalist stepped up his 2023 campaign with a 7-5, 6-1, 6-2 dominant victory against Diego Schwartzman. The eighth-seeded Italian will next face Frenchman Fontaine Ale. In the women's category, top seed Iga Swiatek outclassed Spain's Sara Sorribes Tormo to sweep into the third round with a dazzling display. Swiatek claimed a 6-2, 6-love win, securing her 40th match win of the 2023 season and her 12th straight victory. The Pole will face Croatia's Petra Martic in the third round. Earlier, Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk battled back from a set down to beat 8th seed Maria Sakkari, love 6, 7-5, 6-2, and move into the second round. The 21-year-old had looked out for the count after the first set, but recovered in the next two sets to turn the match around. The unseeded Kostyuk will face Paula Badosa in the second round. Still to come, boy strangled to death by brother. Don't go away. Welcome back. Former Youth and Sports Ministry's Finance Division Secretary Othman Arshad has been sentenced to 15 years in jail and fined 284.2 million ringgit after he was found guilty of 96 counts of corruption and money laundering. Judge Kamaruddin Kamsun found Othman guilty of 32 corruption charges and 64 money laundering charges. Othman was charged on March 31, 2016 with 32 counts of abuse of power and submitting false claims involving 38.4 million ringgit between February 28, 2012 and November 18, 2015. The 17 charges of submitting false claims were under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Act 2009, while the remaining 15 charges of abuse of power were under the same act. The charges under the Anti-Money Laundering and Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001 carries a maximum jail term of 15 years or a fine not less than 5 times the sum of the proceeds from unlawful activities upon conviction. The court set bail at 300,000 ringgit. A chief executive officer with a Datuk title was arrested by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC for receiving bribes of over 250,000 ringgit. Sources said the suspect had allegedly requested and received bribes from a food and beverage supplier company. Sources said the man in his 40s was apprehended after being summoned to the Kuala Lumpur MACC office at about 5 p.m. on Wednesday. According to the source, the suspect had allegedly requested and received bribes through the use of an ATM card owned by the supplier. The bribes were received for securing food and beverage supply contracts for an enforcement agency during the recent 15th general election, GE15. The source stated that the ATM card was found in the suspect's possession and he admitted to withdrawing the money multiple times using the said card. Meanwhile, when contacted, the Kuala Lumpur MACC Director Muhammad Fauzi Hussein confirmed the arrest and stated that the case is being investigated under Section 16, Subsection A of the MACC Act. In Malacca, a 14-year-old boy suspected of strangling his younger brother to death has been remanded for 7 days to facilitate the police investigation. The remand order was until July 12th, was issued by Magistrate Nurul Ashikin Rosli at the Ayer Keroh Magistrates Court. According to the boy's father, the 14-year-old suspect is said to have experienced a change in attitude after becoming a victim of bullying at the boarding school where he was studying. Earlier, media reports stated that a 9-year-old boy died after he was believed to have been strangled by his elder brother at a home in Kampung Bukit Piatu. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. A suspect connected to a drug distribution syndicate was found dead in a lockup at the Seberang Perai Selatan District Police Headquarters in Nibong Tebal on Thursday morning. Pulau Pinang Police Chief Datuk Khao Kok Chin said no foul play was suspected in the incident involving the man who had been detained during a drug raid the night before.
Baik porsi dia, kita dah panggil coroner datang. Selepas OCS, OSPD datang dan panggil coroner datang mengesahkan kematian dia. Dan setakat ini dah cek dengan semua, hospital pun dah cek dan kita tidak mempunyai kesan-kesan jenayah lah, kecederaan yang dikata dipukul oleh siapa tu. Tak ada. Hanya dia tu menggantung diri dan from CCTV kita tengok pun memang confirm dia yang dalam tindakan untuk menggantung diri dia.
The individual, who was in his 40s, was found by an on-duty officer at 10 a.m. after the remand process was completed. It was reported that the suspect, identified as a businessman, was found near the cell door. The suspect, with 4 prior criminal records, was detained on Wednesday night, along with 4 other suspects suspected of being involved in a drug distribution syndicate. The case is being investigated as sudden death. Nightline, we leave you now with visuals of a startup company in Tunisia named Kenenti, which aims to repair and revitalize shoes and leather bags in an artistic and environmentally friendly way. Kenenti also aims to reduce waste, hoping to inspire eco-conscious individuals with sustainable and trendy options that not only minimizes ecological impact but also breathes new life into used items. With that, that's it from us. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and we'll see you again later.